Hello, I'm Josie Wales and welcome to this combat mission final Blitzkrieg video. This video is not going to be an after action report. Instead, what I want to talk about is the Wego system. But before I do that, just for reference, the mission that's being played out here is the scenario A Muddy Affair. I've played this as a single player mission where I am the Americans attempting to take the small town of Singling. So why do I want to make a video about the Wego system? Well, recently I've been trying out another game, Gravity Tactics Myers Front. Now this game appealed to me because it's got a lot of similarities with combat mission. It's a Second World War strategy game where you have to use combined arms tactics to achieve objectives on a map. The game looks great and also has an operational layer that the combat mission series doesn't have. The physics effects are extremely good and the detail on the vehicle models is also really good. However, for some reason that initially eluded me, I've just not been able to engage with Gravity Tactics in the same way that I do with the combat mission series. What I decided to do then was create a comparison video where I compare aspects of Gravity Tactics to the same aspects of combat mission, such as gameplay, graphics, terrain, physics, etc. However, whilst thinking through this process, I stumbled across the reason that I engage with combat mission more than I did with Gravity and Tactics. And it basically came down to the Wego system and what it offers you as a player. Now, combat mission can be played either on the Wego system or as a real-time strategy game where you can pause the action when you need to. Gravity Tactics operates the same system. It's a pausable, real-time strategy game. You pause the game to give your troops orders, then you play through some gameplay until an event causes you to pause again. And in Gravity Tactics you can set up these pauses to be automatic, or you can do it manually if you wish. So for example, you can set it so that when a new contact is spotted, the game automatically pauses, or when a unit is under fire, the game will automatically pause. It is this pausable real-time strategy system that I have not been able to engage with, and not the Gravity Tactics game itself. And the reason I've not been able to engage with pausable real-time strategy is because the Wego system is much more rewarding, in my opinion. I only ever play combat mission on the Wego system and never as a pausable real-time strategy game. The real-time strategy aspect just does not appeal to me at all. So I'll now explain why I believe the Wego system is a more rewarding gameplay system, in my opinion. The Wego system is also known as a phase-based system, and the turns are separated into two distinct phases, a command phase and a replay phase. During the command phase, you and your opponent, if you're playing multiplayer, give orders to your troops. Then during the replay phase, those orders are carried out in 60 seconds of real time. And it's the contrast between these two phases that make the Wego system, in my opinion, a more rewarding system to play. And when I say contrast between the two phases, what I'm talking about specifically is the contrast of control. During the command phase, you have time to form your grand strategy. How is your battalion going to achieve the objectives set before it? You give orders to your companies so that you can achieve those objectives. You give orders to your platoons within those companies so that the companies can achieve those objectives. You can even go down to the squad level and give orders to squads so that the platoon is doing what it needs to do to be in line with the commander's intent all the way up the chain of command. You may even split your squads into smaller fire teams, and at the smallest level you can give individual orders to fire teams. Not only can you specify where each individual fire team is going to go, but you also specify how they get there, what they're going to do when they get there, what arc to cover. Are they going to suppress an area? If they are going to suppress, are they going to suppress only with small arms, but also use their heavy weapons? Are they going to throw smoke? What direction are they going to face? The level of control is almost absolute. You can give orders to every single fire team within your battalion, so that your battalion as a whole is slowly moving towards achieving the objectives. Now, that level of micromanagement isn't for everyone, but for me and the way I like to play, it works very well. And so far in the command phase, there's nothing that I've covered that you can't do in a portable real-time strategy game. So what's the difference? Well, the contrast is created the moment you hit that red button. In the command phase, you had almost total control over your troops. However, once you're in the replay phase, you now have no control over anything that happens in the next 60 seconds. If one of your squads runs into the firing arc of an enemy machine gun, there isn't much you can do about it other than watch on as they get mown down one by one. The TAC AI will respond somewhat, but you cannot intervene with what's happening until the end of the turn. With pausable real time, you can pause the action and change the direction or make some other changes to affect the outcome of that given situation. With the Wego system, you cannot until those 60 seconds have played out in full. If your tank platoon moves into the firing line of an enemy AT gun, you have to sit in despair and curse yourself for being an idiot as you see them pop off one at a time. Tension is created by the anticipation of what is going to happen throughout that particular phase, with the knowledge that you cannot intervene if something starts to go wrong. This type of tension is particular to the Wego system, and you really get a feel for the ebb and flow between hope and despair as you play the game this way. Several bad turns where you think your only option at this point is to surrender and throw in the towel can be balanced out by the next few turns where everything seems to go to plan for once. I personally feel as if I'm having a good turn if I can get to the 30-second mark without taking any casualties. However, I still have 30 seconds to go, which I have no control over, and anything can happen in that time. Once the minute is finished, you finally can get control back as you revert back to the command phase. This contrast of control is simply not available in a pausable real-time strategy game. If you run into a difficult spot in a pausable game, you can just pause it, make decisions, and try and get yourself out of the fix you've got yourself into. The tension and enjoyment is created in a different way. The contrast between almost complete control and virtually no control is the reason that I will always choose the Wego system or a phase-based system over a pausable real-time strategy system. Now, I've not made this video to offend people who like playing either Gravitine Tactics or Combat Mission using the pausable real-time system. It's simply to draw attention to the merits of the Wego system, and in my personal opinion, why I find that a more rewarding way to play. If Gravitine Tactics ever develop a phase-based system similar to the Wego system, then I will engage with that with as much enthusiasm as I do the Combat Mission. Until that point, however, if I want to experience tactical level battlefield strategy during the Second World War, then Combat Mission will be my go-to series. That about concludes what I have to say about the Wego system. If you would like to leave a comment, please do, whether you agree with me or not. If you like what you've seen or heard, please leave a like, subscribe. I am intending to get some more multiplayer battles underway fairly soon, and we'll get some after action reports done on them once they're finished up. So all that remains is to show you the closing minutes of this scenario, a muddy affair. This did end up being a tactical victory. However, I took a lot of casualties. I lost 9 tanks. German infantry with Panzerfaust in an urban environment are just a complete nightmare. The terrain certainly didn't help. There's a reason this scenario is called a muddy affair, and several tanks ended up getting immobilized around and outside of the town. I definitely felt the ebb and flow of despair and hope in this scenario. I was ready to surrender about 2/3 of the way through, and then things kind of started going a little bit more in my direction. I'm Josie Wales. War is hell. Thanks for watching.